Tears of the Kingdom comes out in literal hours, and hype around the game is at an all-time high. Trailers have shown us hugely creative abilities, a plethora of new and old enemies, and even vehicles. Everyone is talking about this game, and everyone is eagerly anticipating it. Well, almost everyone. I've been a Zelda fan since I first booted up Link's Awakening DX on my Game Boy Color. I later played Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, although I never finished the latter as a child. Wind Waker was the first video game I ever pre-ordered. I absolutely adored Twilight Princess and A Link Between Worlds. And then I also went back and played A Link to the Past for the first time as an adult, and it made me feel like a kid again. I even have a Legend of Zelda blanket. I hear you, commenter. What does any of this have to do with Tears of the Kingdom? Honestly, nothing. I'm just trying to give you an idea of my history with the franchise, so you can understand where I'm coming from. There is one Zelda title that has a lot to do with it, though. Major spoilers for Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild's trailer blew me away. The presentation was phenomenal, and my hype was at an all-time high. I watched that trailer over and over again while I waited for March 3rd, 2017. I attended a midnight launch and played the game for weeks straight. It was a breathtaking experience. I was enamored with the game. The more I played it, the more the cracks began to show, though. At first, they were minor annoyances, but over time, they grew to make me irate. These flaws make the game unplayable for me. It was frustrating recording the footage you are seeing right now. Breath of the Wild is at its best when you are exploring and fighting. Except, one of the game's mechanics punishes you for fighting, and exploration does only one thing. It makes you a better fighter, through Korok seeds, weapons, spirit orbs, or armor. But wait, I can hear you say, you can upgrade your stamina with spirit orbs, and you're absolutely correct. In fact, when I first played the game, I maxed out my stamina wheel before I even got a single extra heart. I actually really love the stamina system in Breath of the Wild. It is one of the best iterations I've seen in all of gaming. And it's decades ahead of Skyward Sword's stamina wheel. But improving your stamina does not unlock anything you couldn't already access. By using food, you can refill or overfill your stamina meter. Upgrading your stamina does not make you better at exploring, it simply makes exploring less annoying. Plus, I fucking hate rain. Who thought rain was a fucking good idea? I have a confession to make. I'm a bit of a hoarder, both in and out of games. I have a really hard time letting anything go. I cannot retrain my brain on this. Every RPG I play ends with minimal item use to the point where I have a heap full of one-time use items that just crowd up the entire UI. But I just can't use them. So, of course, in Breath of the Wild, I filled my inventory with a bunch of powerful weapons. You know, because I'm a hoarder. Well, that means I can't bring myself to use them. This causes me to avoid fighting at all cost. But Giga, you will get new weapons from the enemies you kill. I can hear you say, yes, sure. Let's break my Royal Guard broadsword, only to get a Boko Club in return. That is a great trade I want to engage in. The game actively encourages me to not engage in its combat mechanics. Weapon durability is just horrid for people like me. This feature is confirmed to be returning. No, the fuse power, making all of my weapons even more disposable, does not fix the issue for me. So here I have a game that rewards my exploration with combat, but then punishes me for engaging in combat. That is all this game is. It's just fighting that forces you to explore so you can go back to fighting. Well, okay. That's not entirely fair. I'm sorry. I'm just getting frustrated. The thing is, historically, The Legend of Zelda has been equal parts combat, exploration, macro puzzle solving, and micro puzzle solving. We've covered my thoughts on Breath of the Wild's combat and exploration so far. Micro puzzle solving is super easy to explain, and honestly, Breath of the Wild has this in spades. Shrines, Korok Seeds, Divine Beasts, they're all absolutely stuffed with loads of micro puzzles. I define micro puzzles as individual room puzzles that can be solved with the resources you already have at hand, or resources provided to you in the instance. Almost every puzzle in the game fits into this type of puzzle. Macro puzzles are puzzles that involve an entire region, or even the whole map to solve. A great example of a macro puzzle are the spinners in the Oracle games. In order to solve the dungeon, you have to understand the whole layout, and in order to set the spinners into the correct state. More on those in a later video because they're so fucking cool. Another example is how the world opens up when you acquire a new item in a traditional Zelda game, and the player has to find out how to use that item to explore areas that were previously off limits. The hook shot opens up so many new areas in every game you acquire it in. Figuring out where you can go with these new tools is an incredible feeling. It makes you feel smart. By giving you all your powers at the onset, Breath of the Wild robs you of this sense of discovery that you get when you acquire a new item, like the hookshot, bow, Pegasus boots, and whatever other traditional Zelda item you can think of. No new items to make you go, wow, I can't wait to see what new things I can discover with this. Of course, the game isn't going to leave you with no tools. Breath of the Wild replaced all of these unique items with the Sheikah Slate powers that you get in the first couple hours. So once you're done with the Great Plateau, that's it. There are no new key items in any of the dungeons or shrines. There are only more disposable weapons. But wait! What about the Fire Rod? That lets you melt blocks of ice that let you explore. And you're absolutely right. The Fire Rod unlocks new areas to go and new items to acquire. Oh wait, that's just another fucking weapon. And oh wait, I can do this with a campfire. Oh, also fire rods can break now? Seriously, I hate this fucking weapon system. Okay, so let's talk about dungeons. I am the dungeon guy after all, and I think it's only fair if I address both the Divine Beasts as well as the shrines here. Aesthetically, they are bland and uninteresting, but that isn't even their biggest problem. As I said before, traditional Legend of Zelda games are built on 4 pillars of gameplay: combat, exploration, macro puzzles, and micro puzzles. This is true for previous games' dungeons as well. I've already talked about how shrines and beasts are filled with micro puzzles, and exploration is obviously a given. Combat is generally rare in these, unless you're in a test of strength shrine, but honestly I'm okay with that. My problem with these dungeons is the lack of macro puzzles. The part of Legend of Zelda games that I connect the most with are the dungeons. I mean, that is kind of my whole thing here on YouTube. I want to talk about how these dungeons work and help the Super Dungeon Maker community make the best Zelda-like dungeons they can. My favorite part of exploring a dungeon is making a mental map in my head and learning how to navigate the labyrinthine nature of Zelda dungeons. I like to figure out the layout and carefully manage switch states. I want to get lost and have to recall the path back to a central room. I want to be immersed in the confusing design. Yes, this generally means that dungeons need to be somewhat linear. Not entirely linear, but somewhat. And the open nature of Breath of the Wild's Divine Beasts does away with the maze-like structures of the past and doubles down on micro-puzzles. Each terminal in each beast can be solved in any order you wish, and can generally be solved by moving the beast, which you can do from anywhere. Only in Va Naboris. Is that the right one? The giant camel thing, yeah? Yeah. Only in Va Naboris You actually need to understand the dungeon layout in order to progress. I would argue this is the only macro puzzle in the whole game. Nintendo cut every other one out. As far as shrines go, they're all either combat challenges or micro puzzles. Self-contained puzzles or challenges. Well, except the dueling peak shrines that hide each other's solution in the opposite shrine, which is just terribly implemented because it's annoying to travel between them unless you just happen to enter the higher one first, which, to be fair, I did. Great idea, horrible implementation. But let's get back to that Breath of the Wild trailer, shall we? I honestly freaking love this trailer. I still go back and watch it and imagine the game that we could have had. A big aspect of the trailer that got me excited was what looked to be an exciting and emotional story. Oh boy, that was a mistake. See, you have to remember how every previous 3D home console game starts. The guardian of the forest summons a young boy to stop a great evil from consuming the world. You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? A giant evil bird kidnaps a young boy's sister and he sets out on an adventure to rescue her. Horrifying monsters kidnap all of the children from your small village. Your childhood friend gets swept up in a tornado and is thrown to the mysterious world beyond the clouds. All of these have deeply personal stories. People Link cares about, or Link himself in the case of Majora's Mask, are in real danger, and it is up to him to find the courage to stand up for what is right. His friends, his families, his parental figure, they're all in danger if he doesn't do something. How does Breath of the Wild start? You have amnesia. You don't remember any of your friends, nor what happened to you. I mean, all your friends are dead anyway, so whatever. The thing is, this could have been so much better. But Nintendo clearly set their mind on making an open world first, and a story second. No, wait, third? Probably fourth, actually. I still watch this trailer and weep for the story that could have been. This looks amazing, and the characters are all super cool. I'm invested. Oh, wait. That's not the story, that's the backstory. These cool characters? Dead, dead, dead. These cool scenes? Flashback, flashback, flashback. In fact, there are over a dozen shots in the trailer that are from flashbacks. They advertised the story and gave us a backstory. Listen up, all prospective writers. Lore and backstory, while important, do not make up for a lack of an actual fucking narrative. If the game had a reasonable story, they could have advertised that instead of focusing so much of the trailer on the backstory. But the actual story is so lackluster that you can skip it all and just fight Ganon once you leave the Great Plateau. Think about this for a second. You start the game being chosen as Zelda's personal knight. You work with her to recruit the 4 champions that will help you prepare for Ganon's return. However, each one of them needs your help with a problem before they can offer their aid. Link assists the future champions with, I guess a dungeon of some sort that is filled with malice as Ganon's essence is slowly seeping back into the world. You can complete these dungeons, let's say in any order, and in each one of them the champion helps you explore and clear out the evil within. You get a personal attachment to each of the characters. You get to know them through dialogue and cutscenes, where you interact with them as you help them through their troubles. They join your team afterwards and gift you items or abilities that make you more powerful. Hell, you even meet little kid Sidon, and he thinks you're so cool and he treats you like the older brother he never had. Once all 4 champions are recruited, you continue trying to help Zelda uncover her powers. Maybe you witness the people of Hyrule excavating the Guardians in anticipation for Ganon's return. Maybe you even help them do it. And then the unthinkable happens. Ganon returns, and all of the champions rush to their divine beasts. Zelda and Link rush off to Hyrule Castle to face the beast head on, but a great tragedy happens. The Guardians turn on the people of Hyrule, and you're forced to run. You have to help Zelda escape the fields as the Guardians destroy the world you have grown attached to. You run and run, but Ganon is too cunning. He takes over the divine beasts and turns them against Hyrule. You have no idea what the fate of your friends have become, but your sole objective is protecting Zelda. Wave after wave of Guardians assault the final bastions of Hyrule, and you're so overwhelmed you just can't win. When your health is depleted in your last stand, this cinematic is played. Zelda's powers awaken, but it is too late. She orders the Sheikah to take you to the Shrine of Resurrection, and she goes on to face Ganon alone. The next thing you know, you wake up 100 years later, in a world that has been ravaged by evil. You know not the fate of your friends or of Zelda, but you have the courage to find out. You failed the first time, and you will not fail again. Oh, wait, sorry, I just remade Ocarina of Time? Fuck, my bad. I'm sorry, guys. I hear what you're saying. Giga, that is way too much work for you to ask of the developers. To make the map twice so you can have a pre-Calamity World and a post-Calamity World? And yeah, you're right. That does sound like a lot of work. Cut the map size in half. Honestly, it doesn't need to be that big, and let's be real, it's just filled with fucking Koroks anyway. Why are there 900? Okay, Giga, we get it. You hate Breath of the Wild. That's the thing. I don't hate it. I think Breath of the Wild is a brilliant game that has a few massive flaws. Massive flaws that leave the game as a broken experience for me. With a PC game, I could just download a couple mods to fix these issues, but this isn't a PC game, it's a Nintendo game. The thing is, Nintendo has a habit of deciding they know what is best for their players and forcing those decisions upon them. I desperately wanted to play Splatoon 2's PvE game mode, Salmon Run, with my online friends. But Nintendo decided that Salmon Run would only be available certain times of certain days. Whenever we tried to schedule something, it always just happened to line up with when the game mode was not available. Or what about Animal Crossing? One island per console makes it so two people who share a Switch both can't have their own save files? What is this bullshit? This isn't a general video to complain about Nintendo's archaic practices, though. This is a video about Breath of the Wild. Wait. It's not about Breath of the Wild? Oh, right. This video is about Tears of the Kingdom, isn't it? Shit, my bad. So, my problem is, every Tears of the Kingdom trailer just looks like Breath of the Wild 2 to me. It seems like there's an actual story this time, but that is also only one of the complaints I listed. And let's not forget, Breath of the Wild's trailer also looked like it had a story. I literally can't get myself excited for this game, and that makes me incredibly sad. I want so badly to be excited for it, like I was for Breath of the Wild, but I just can't. I hope it's the most incredible game in the whole damn series. I really do. It's just, Breath of the Wild's broken story turned me off. Weapon durability turned me off. Lack of macro puzzles turned me off. And the massive focus on combat turned me off. I love and play Zelda games not for their combat, but for their beautiful stories, magical puzzle-like worlds, and their beautiful soul. If this is the direction the series wants to go, then maybe it's no longer for me, and that saddens me greatly. But it is something I must accept. And maybe, just maybe, one day, Metroid Prime 4 will release. Hi, I'm amazed you're still here. If this is your first video, hi. This isn't the normal type of video I make. I just got tired of people asking me if I was going to play Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom. I just got tired of people asking me if I was going to play Tears of the Kingdom. The answer is probably not. Maybe I'll play it sometime in the future, I don't know. I normally make videos about dungeon design in the Zelda-like game Super Dungeon Maker. It's this cute little indie that allows players to make, share, and play Zelda-like dungeons. It's heavily inspired by the old-fashioned games like A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening. So if that sounds like fun, you should check it out. It's out on both Steam and the Nintendo Switch. No, I'm not paid to shill it, I just think it's neat. If that game sounds interesting to you, you should subscribe and watch some of my other videos. Either way, thank you for supporting my channel. Peace. I hope this video ages like milk.